How you doing? We're here today with Robert Weiss, the president of Multivision Digital. We're going to be talking about B2B video, where we're at, where it's going, how to make it, what great is, what bad is, and everything in between.
It's one of my favorite subjects.
Let's get into it. So let's start with the hard stuff first.
Cool.
Big question. Why is B2B video important?
The short answer is because we're all watching more video, right?
Okay.
So B2B decision makers are busy, right? They have no time, right? We're all stretched, and video gives the most amount of information in the shortest amount of time. So why would you not want to give people who are vetting you out and evaluating you video that does that, right?
Okay.
So you're appealing to their sense of time and giving them information.
Cool. So the people who are new out there, never made B2B videos before, what is a B2B video? Where do you get started?
So a B2B video is anything that fits into the sales and marketing process. So from a business to business standpoint, you have two sides of the equation. You have your marketing funnel, and then you have your sales funnel. And from a marketing funnel, at the top you've got advertising to create awareness and lead generation and nurturing. Okay. And then once prospects get into the sales process, you have everything that you need to educate them on your product, your service, your company, your processes, case studies, technical stuff in order to get them to buy. So that's a lot of video. So where you get started really depends on where the bottlenecks are in those processes, right? We have a line that we typically say, the first thing to do when you start to think about B2B video is stop thinking about video, right? Okay. It's really about your business goals, your business objectives. If you're an enterprise agency, right, and you're selling software or you're a consulting agency, you probably have a lot of industries, probably have a lot of products and a lot of skill sets of your organization, right? As a marketer, you can't create content for all of those things, right? So align video to the business goals and objectives that you're working on as a marketer. Again, is it on the marketing funnel or is it on the sales support funnel?
All right, so I'm in business. I've never made a video in my life. I come to somebody like yourself. What's the first step? How do I get started?
So hopefully you've identified what objective you have, right? So there is strategy, there is production, and then there's the distribution of that content, right? Okay. So that's kind of how the workflow happens. You create the strategy, you produce the video content, and then you're going to go distribute it. However, when you think about video, the production of that content is actually the last thing you want to think about. Okay. Because your strategic side, you have sales support. Okay. Could be case studies, could be FAQs. The distribution of that is very different than, let's say, a brand awareness video or a lead conversion video, right? Okay. So strategy, distribution, and that will dictate the type of content that you ultimately produce for that strategic initiative and for that distribution.
And so how has the world of distribution changed, and where are you seeing it going in the future? Because I'm sure that's been a big theme for your business, is that channels have only existed in the digital space for 10 years and they're changing every 2 years. So talk a little bit about distribution.
Yeah, so for B2B, it's mostly on the blocking and tackling of the sales process.
So distribution don't go with it?
It does, but I think for your side, there's more fragmentation. That was the word that I was using, right?
So let's talk about the hard part of making videos. What is a good video? What are best practices? If you're a first timer out there, how do you educate yourself on what you should be doing?
Yep. So let's make some assumptions that from a B2B standpoint, you're a professional organization. You've got a professional website. Your materials look great. So should your video. Right. So if this is your first time, what we recommend is start with a professional video production company, because they're going to help you do it right, right? The last thing you want to do is lead with bad content, right? think, circa 2002, 2003, where people were kind of investing in websites and they didn't really have a good website, didn't really produce the type of return that they were looking for. The same goes with video now. So the first thing to really, really lock down after you've done the strategy is the messaging. A lot of my clients come to me and say, we want a video that looks like this and shows this, and I stop. It's not about the visuals when you're just starting, right? It's about the messaging, right? What is the messaging? Get that down on paper. You don't need to create a storyboard per se, right? Get the messaging down and then work with the video production company to create the video that communicates the message, not only in verbal form, but also in visual form.
Got it. So, I think you've probably come across this a lot, is that there's a belief out there that video is expensive, and how the heck am I ever going to get into this business? I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the people, the resources, whatever. What's your take on that, and what it takes to make great video?
Yeah, well, certainly it can be expensive, right? It really depends on what you're looking for. So again, going back to my experiences with clients and working with people, they might say, oh, we want this short, simple 1-minute video. Right, and I stop them. I joke. I'm like, well, do we need a helicopter for that? Right, and nobody said yes, but they get the point. They say, even a simple, short 1-minute video, if you needed a helicopter, it's going to be expensive, right? So it's really about the scope of the project, and depending on what you need, which will determine the production value and the cost associated with producing that video. Now. There are ways to be efficient with producing B2B video, right? You don't always need to tell a story per se, right? So we do a lot of FAQ videos for clients that are simple question and answer. And we can create or produce 5 or 10 videos in a half a day because we get some of their implementation people, their chief technical people in front of the camera, and they answer common questions that they talk about every single day, right? Those are easy to produce, and the organization gets a lot of life out of those because now they can use that content in sales support, in emails, for SEO, blogging initiatives, right? So in that type of production, if you look at a cost per video, it's relatively inexpensive.
And so, now I've set my strategy, I know what my budget is, we made some videos, they achieved the objective we think. How did we really know it worked though?
So there's different metrics, right? From the simple of looking at views, right? So a lot of people just getting started, they're gonna host their video on YouTube, and really the only metric there they have is views. Am I seeing my views increase? If videos are going to be implemented into an SEO strategy, and handed off to an SEO team, whether it's internal or external, you can see time spent on that web page. You can see traffic to that web page going up because, again, you have a strategy. And then the more sophisticated clients that we have actually have online video platforms that can track the time watched. They have triggers that integrate into their CRM platform, like a Salesforce, and then again can trigger off different dashboards or different messages to salespeople. So they know when somebody's watched a video 2 or 3 times or watched 2 or 3 videos, that's a pretty qualified prospect. They probably deserve a phone call.
And who in this space do you feel does it extraordinarily well? If you were to say this is the best in class organization, production company, who are some of the names that you throw out that people can aspire to?
There's a lot of examples of that depending on what industry you're in, and they're irrelevant of big or small, right? So the first knee-jerk reaction I have is Cisco. I mean, they've been doing videos for years, they track it really well, but again, they're a huge organization, right? I've got one of our clients who is a small startup, and they produced the right video and secured a $480,000 deal, right? So there's tons of examples out there. I don't have any at the top of my head, but those are just a couple.
And how do you know when the video's run its course? And my side of the business, the B2C, we do wear out analysis and things like that. How do you know is it an evergreen mentality for most of the assets you create, or how should you know when its expiration date is?
So we want to think about that on the strategy side, and a lot of what we produce for our clients is the evergreen type of content. So if you think about the FAQs, common questions in the sales process, a corporate overview video, right? Your mission, who you are, is probably not going to change so much over the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, right? So that video, although it's produced today, can last for about 5 years, which is a great amortization and a great return on investment. Again, those FAQ questions, right, might be a little bit more evergreen. Now, there are times when we work with our clients, like around Brexit, we work with some financial companies, that was more timely information, but we knew that going into it, that there was an expiration date on that content.
Cool. All right, big one, maybe this is the last one. Hard question. Where is video heading in the next 5 years?
I can only guesstimate, right?
If you had a crystal ball and you looked into the Rob Weiss crystal ball, where would you be?
From a B2B standpoint, right? So business consumer is a little bit more advanced with video than B2B. So I think it's going to become more pervasive.
Got it.
So where companies are just investing in 1 or 2 videos or a handful of videos for a certain part of the sales funnel or marketing funnel, they're going to expand upon their library. And when they expand upon their library, they're going to have other tools to track and measure that, right? So they're going to become more sophisticated, they're going to be more sophisticated in their strategy, which is going to lead to producing more content, and the need to manage and measure that.
Cool.
So.
I like that crystal ball notion. We'll come back in 5 years and see how Rob did with that. Thanks, everybody. And how do people get in touch with you?
Multivisiondigital.com, and you can always just pick up the phone right now and call me at 646-319-8609.
Excellent.
Thank
See
you.
you next time.